What's up, guys? Tanner 5.9 high output here. I guess I should probably start a new intro since I'm doing WRX stuff now. But anyway, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be showing you guys not necessarily how to do the oxygen sensor, because I seem to always forget when I'm replacing these things because I'm kind of learning as I'm going. But I will give you the best step-by-step knowledge that I can, and I can definitely let you know where a lot of these things are. If you guys have any questions, like I said before, please leave them in the comments. Let me know. Once it gets a little warmer out here, then I will start attempting to do more step-by-step videos when I'm not just trying to get off the freezing ground. But today, I'm dealing with this oxygen sensor. So, let's show you the old one here real quick. So this is the reason the old one failed. You can see that wire. I do believe that wire is, of the three, that wire is more than crucial to the O2 sensor setup. Mainly because I got a code p0031 and also p0134. They did not happen at the same time. I had first got one yesterday morning going to work, and so I ran the reader, and I was like, oh, okay, O2 sensor code. Thinking, okay, catalyst efficiency below threshold, whatever they call it. But then I got the second code when I had cleared it, turned the car on again, and it was, I forgot the specific wording, but basically the wording told me that it didn't see the oxygen sensor. It said no activity. That's what it was, no activity. And so I was like, oh, okay. And now I had seen that oxygen sensor from the side before when I was doing my oil change this last time. And I was like, I wonder how long it's going to be before that becomes an issue. Well, I guess it was about 2 weeks. So not too hard of a job. I'll be honest with you guys. The hardest part of this job, like most sensors tend to be on these newer cars especially, is going to be the plug. Trying to get it to click, trying not to break the plug, unplugging it. But this plug is in a weird spot. It is between the head and the frame rail. So not too bad. You can get to it from the bottom. You can get to it from the top. If you got somebody with like long, skinny arms and hands, it's definitely a good idea to maybe have them around to give you a hand. If you're not, if you got fat hands, I don't necessarily have the fattest hands, but I don't have the skinniest hands either. So let's show you guys what we did here. So I don't know if you guys can see down there, but right behind the timing cover, I think you can see it. That's the plug. That's the upside of the plug. So then you'll have the bottom part, which is the oxygen sensor. See if it'll focus. There it is. So basically, what you gotta do, jack up that side of the vehicle. You can get in there. It's real easy. Everyone says to remove the tire, the fender well, and all that. You don't have to do it. It's a little more crammed if you don't. And if you got plenty of time and you want to pull it off anyway, go for it. Not a big deal. But if you don't, you don't absolutely have to do that. All you got to do, the main thing that helps in a situation like this so you don't round off the fitting on the O2 sensor, is to have one of these. The O2 sensor socket. This, from what I know, O2 sensors are the same size. And that one, I've replaced O2 sensors on 2 or 3 vehicles now, and it's worked perfectly. It it definitely helps. I think it was like 30 or 40 bucks at O'Reilly's. I think it might have been less. I'm not totally sure. But that tool helps. That tool definitely helps. And that should get rid of your code P00, what did I say, 31, and p0134, I believe was the code. I saw in another one, it's going to be the same thing for the driver's side. This was passenger side in America. And it's hard to say with that when you have people that are like across the world, and passenger side is the other side of the vehicle. Compared to our passenger side would be, if you're sitting in the car, the right side, but their passenger side would be the left side. But as far as United States goes, passenger side, the right-hand side if you're sitting in the driver's seat, left-hand side if you're looking at the hood, that was p0031, the bank 1 sensor one. If you get bank 2, I think it's p0037 or 38, then that'll just be the other side. And it should be about the same. I have not looked under there yet. I was told you're supposed to replace them in tandem, but I was only able to get my hands on one of these parts. The next one was out of like Denver, and it's like a week out. But it's an oxygen sensor. They're going to tune to your car once you run it a couple of times. They're going to get in sync with how the car is supposed to run, and it's going to make it run better than obviously it was when it was throwing codes. Obviously, if you either have the money or have the time or have the time to wait on the parts, definitely replace them in tandem if that's something you like to do. It's not, in my personal opinion, it's not something you do like brakes, where if you do one side, you got to do the other. In an emergency situation, of course, brakes, do whatever you got to do to get where you're going. But as far as this goes, it's very simple. Like I said, that plug was the hardest part. Do the plug. Try to undo the plug first. Take the sensor out with the handy dandy socket I showed you, and then put the new one in. Once it gets tight, just like another quarter turn past tight on your ratchet, and you should be good. And then try to go plug that in. It doesn't need to be in there tight, just enough to click, or if you're able to get under there and see, you will see the little finger that'll drop into the little groove behind the other finger on the receiving side of the plug. Not super hard. I think the worst part about this job was that the sensor cost $200, but it's the upstream one. And of course the downstream one behind the turbo is like $87. But got that O'Reilly's. It's a Bosch one. From what I learned, the upstream on both sides is the same part, which makes it easy, makes it nice. So if you guys are looking for it, it's going to be part number 18080 on the Bosch side. So if you guys are looking for that and you need it, just call down to your O'Reilly's. Say I'm looking for an O2 sensor, part number, or Bosch part number 18080. They should be able to pull that right up. If they can't, then they probably don't know how to run that system. As you guys know, I used to work at O'Reilly's years ago. So hopefully some of that information I can pass along to you guys too, as well as we go on here with looking for parts and stuff, because sometimes they hire kids that don't know how to run a computer. Anyway, that is the O2 sensor video. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see. I could have done better, done worse, this, that, whatever. Or if there's just some videos of the Cummins or the WRX you want to see. And I'll be happy to try to do them for you. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one.